agency is at war with smugglers in the ports and airports.
You don't have to say anything.
Get that out of my face.
Coming up, the dogs in Gatwick sniff out a suspect with a dodgy case.
Basically, in a nutshell, okay, I think you have drugs in your baggage.
Cocaine.
A search in Manchester goes a bit too deep for this passenger.
Can all these go back in, yeah?
What's up? Oh, right, oh, this is your eyes. This is your private collection, is it?
We just have a quick
And
look at your
things
bags,
get
then.
ugly when a family are told their cigarettes are going to be seized.
No, a lot of them. I'm not. This is me.
In Manchester, a radio message has come in from a pilot of an EasyJet flight. 2 female passengers are suspected of smoking cannabis in the plane's rear toilet.
Who is it, blonde? I'll go upstairs, mate. All right, I'll go upstairs.
The pressure is now on for
Yeah,
sniffer dog Amy to identify the
Stay to the right,
suspects
keep walking
amongst
past,
the
please.
crowd.
Stay single file to the right, please, as you're coming through, thanks. Just stay to the right and keep walking past. Ames, in here. Just lower that bag for me, please. Amy.
Amy
Lower
is
the
looking
bag,
for
please.
drugs, but UK border officer
Thank you.
Phil is trained to
Excuse me.
spot
You just stay that
suspicious
side, please.
behaviour.
Thanks very much. There was a girl who didn't really want to. I don't know whether she had a small handbag. If it was her, she wasn't too keen on lowering it for the dog.
It wasn't a definite indication, so Amy boards the plane to search the seats for any drugs ditched by the suspects.
Hey, am I in about the general area where she was sat? Yeah. Dog isn't pinpointing any particular areas. She's just very busy around all those seats. Staff have been on already and done a search of the whole area. What there could be, the dog could just be picking up the residual smell of whatever she's been doing, been taking.
With no physical evidence left on the plane, the officers will stop and search the 2 suspects for any cannabis. Unexpectedly, the officer gets a hit for cocaine.
It's quite noticeable that this particular one wasn't keen for the dog to go anywhere near her. And by the sounds of it, they are getting traces off them at the moment for cocaine. So the officers are just doing further investigation on that at the moment.
Confronted with the evidence, one of the girls admits to having taken cocaine, but with such strong traces, officers are still highly suspicious.
Well, still getting hits absolutely everywhere for coke. That's the thing. You said you used some last night, yeah. First luggage. I also got hits on the plane for coke. So from the dog where you were sat.
On the plane?
Yeah, if you both, yeah. Your seats on the plane, okay? So, what I'm going to do, we'll take you into, you want to take one of these rooms, we'll get someone to repack the bag and bring it in. Come in here with me.
Officers have no jurisdiction over drug use abroad, but they suspect the girl may be carrying cocaine internally. It's a serious crime with potentially lethal consequences.
Also, I've got suspicion that you could have drugs internally somewhere, because there's none in your bag.
You crazy man.
No, that's what it is. So, what I have to do here, okay, I'm arresting you, okay, on suspicion of being involved with the illegal importation of controlled substance, cocaine. Okay, it's okay on this one. I have to arrest you. You do not have to say anything, okay, but it may harm your defence. If you fail to mention something in question you later on, anything you do say will be given in evidence. Do you understand that?
Right.
The girls will now be
What's happened
searched
to me,
and
okay?
x-rayed.
And what happens when you don't find anything?
If nothing's found, I'm sure you'll be arrested and go on your way.
Their ordeal
Okay.
is far from over. In Gatwick, officers are x-raying the bags off a flight from Turkey. It's outside the EU and a regular source for
If we get
smuggling
4
cheap
cigarette seizures
cigarettes.
off this,
But the team have
I'll
their
eat my
doubts
tie.
about this particular flight.
It's a Saga holidays flight, which means it tends to be the older generation. If we get cigarette seizures off this, I'll eat my tie.
But straight away, the officers find over 4,000 cigarettes. They then head upstairs to see who collects the bags. They watch as the passengers walk straight through, nothing to declare. It's at this point the offence has been committed.
You've come into the green nothing to declare channel, which means you've got no more than 1 litre of spirits each. One packet of 200 cigarettes each, as long as you're over 17.
Well, I've got 200 cigarettes, but...
How many have you got?
I've got 2,000 myself. And you've got 2,000 of our own brain.
We just
It's
have
a
a quick look at your back,
clear-cut
Tim.
offence, and the man won't be happy with the results.
By coming into the green channel, over the allowances, you have committed an offence.
Right, go for it.
So, because you've come into the green channel, the penalty will be today is for me to seize all the cigarettes from you.
Take me, don't you?
No.
If I can go over to France,
Yeah, but France...
legally, no, I can legally go over to France with a 7.5 ton lorry, fill it up with one maker fags and come through legally, and I can't be done for it. Doesn't matter how many you bring through.
Yeah, but that is because it's going to Europe and tax has been paid into Europe. By buying them in Turkey, it's outside the European... Yeah, but not to the European Union.
That was our fault.
Yeah, but the problem is you've come...
Turkey's in Europe.
Turkey's not in the European Union.
Turkey's in Europe.
But it's not in the European Union.
Well,
And by not being in the European Union, that means tax is not paid into the European Union, which is why you have an allowance of 200.
The man
Anything over
thinks he
that
knows his
must be declared
geography,
in the red
but he
channel.
clearly doesn't know the law.
but you
It's
better
as simple
arrest
as
me,
that.
because I'm taking my bags with me.
You won't be taking your cigarettes with you.
Who's stopping me?
Go all the way through.
No, no. At the end of the day,
I'm not being rude.
at the end of the day, it's my hard-earned money that's bought them, and she wants to take them so they can
We should be able
chuck
to
them in
now
the
pay the
incinerator.
tax
It's
on
wrong.
them. We've said, OK, that's fair enough, hands up. We'll pay the tax.
Totally
That's
wrong.
unfair.
Yeah, but you've committed an offence. But yeah, but you've
not
committed an
an
offence by coming into the green channel. It's an outright offence.
Where they come from?
Turkey.
Turkey. You're at 200
In the
each.
European...
That's it.
I'll come from Europe.
Makes no
But
difference.
not the European Union.
200
It's the difference.
is what
The
your
man
limit is.
decides to
Turkey's
take the law
outside
into
the
his own
EU.
hands.
I'm going round the red channel, sorry.
No, you're too
No.
late. Come down there.
You've come into the green channel.
Right, I'll take them.
No.
200 are allowed to be mine.
No,
You've
by
just said
coming
I'm allowed
into
200.
but by coming into
lost
the
them.
by coming into the
Give me the
channel.
paperwork, arrest me.
Get a bag.
No, a lot of them. I'm not. This is my own money. It's my own money, which I've got ended up from. This was a family holiday. I paid for it from my Dan and Grand's deathbed legacy, and they're going to take even more money from me. Bad enough, the government ripping you off and inheritance tax and every other tax, and then these do the same.
Taking cigarettes from tired passengers can often boil over into angry confrontations. Sam hopes she's seen the last of this man's temper. Back in Manchester, the suspected smuggler's plan is beginning to unravel, and their attempt to dispose of the evidence has failed.
Okay, right, no worries.
What was the flight?
One of the officers found a package by the bench, which we think one of the girls has actually dropped. It was found to be cannabis in a sock. He's actually looked, and within the cannabis he's found a small plastic bag, like a deal bag, containing some white powder. We suspect that to be cocaine. The girl who was travelling with her, the officers have conducted a search of person. During the search of person, they found another package. It's a sock containing cannabis. They weren't sure whether they could feel something else, so they upgraded the search to a strip search. They've done a strip search now, and they're quite happy she's got nothing on her person.
But having detected such high hits for cocaine, the girls are led away for a full body X-ray. Class A smugglers face a maximum of life in prison.
Just get in there and sit down, please. You're best not talking to each other. If you talk to each other, we'll have to take you one at a time, and it'll take longer.
Dealing with suspected drug swallowers is also stressful for the officers. If the girls do have packages internally, it's a life-threatening situation.
By using the machines we have in the Green Channel, we've found very high traces of cocaine. So we believe they could well have concealments of cocaine inside them. We just simply put the passenger on the machine and it passes the person through the machine. We instantly get an image on screen that we can examine, and if we can see packages there, then they're back up to custody while we await the packages to pass through the system.
Find anything?
Don't know.
What do you think?
You tell us. We've got to be 100% sure there's nothing up there. 'Cause if we say there's nothing there, and if it is something like cocaine, that when the package does split, you're talking a matter of seconds before you suffer a fatal overdose. So we want to be 110% sure there's nothing there before we say, yeah, it's negative. If you put your feet on them marks, Hold on to either side. It's be a couple of seconds and it'll start moving.
Thankfully, both scans are clear, but the girls are still in trouble. 2 weeks later, a court decided the drugs were for personal use only, and they got a 12-month suspended sentence for the attempted importation. And back in the Gatwick search bay, things seem to have calmed down a bit.
Keep your back down, mate. I'm not going to anyone. Because if I did, it would be you looking at me like that. Believe you me, you'd be on your with it. Well, he's standing there.
There's cigarettes at the end of the day. Let them do what they want to do. We're going to burn them anyway. Forget about it.
Well, we were going to burn them one by one.
Forget about it.
The gentleman wasn't too happy about the fact that I was seizing his cigarettes, but it is a right offence coming in from Turkey. You are only allowed one packet of 200 cigarettes. You have to be over the age of 17, and they were in very much in excess of their allowances.
Good evening.
It was until we met you.
Coming up, sniffer dogs at Gatwick make a significant discovery in the bottom of a suitcase.
Basically, in a nutshell, okay, I think you have drugs in your baggage.
Cocaine.
Coming up, border officers dig a bit too deep into one man's bag.
What's up? Oh, right, oh, this is your eyes. This is your private collection, is it?
At Gatwick Airport, a flight has just landed from Port of Spain, St. Lucia. UK border officers need to closely monitor flights from the Caribbean, a known source area for cocaine. Sniffer dogs are a powerful tool in fighting smugglers, and one bag in particular gets rookie drug dog Barney excited.
I took Barney to where a Caribbean flight was landing, and he gave a really nice indication on a passenger's bag.
This bag is yours and this bag is yours. Yes. Right, there's things that you cannot bring in this country, okay? Things that you cannot bring in. You have no guns. Guns, like shoot, bang bang. No guns, no drugs. No cocaine or anything like that. No? Sure? Okay. Has anybody given you anything to bring back? You're carrying parcels or gifts for people.
That's the given, that's the...
That's not what I'm asking, right? Just put that on there for me.
The passenger is acting nervous, and Warren decides to do some background checks.
I mean, he's quite a presentable bloke that you probably wouldn't look at too much, but when Darren's come up and said that the dog's indicated on the bag, obviously you focus on that bloke. When we focus on him in the queue, he's quite nervous, and he's showing signs that he doesn't really want to be there. He wants to be straight through and out. And obviously when he's been intercepted as well, he's showed out there as well. He's fiddling with the bag, he doesn't want to make eye contact with you, and then from initially speaking really good English, he doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying to him. So yeah, it's all there.
The man's bag is put through an X-ray to check for irregularities, and straight away it confirms Barney's suspicions.
Right, you need to listen to me very carefully, okay? I know your English is not good. Okay, I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the illegal importation of a controlled drug. Okay, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand what I've said to you?
No, I understand.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, okay, I think you have drugs in your baggage, and that's why you've been arrested.
What?
I think you have drugs in your bag, in here, okay? So you've been arrested for that, yes. We'll explain it a bit more later on, okay?
Warren has uncovered a false bottom in the suitcase, but with the man now claiming not to understand English, it's going to take a while to get to the bottom of the story. At Manchester, border officers in the immigration area have asked Officer Liz to search a man hoping to enter the UK on a tourist visa, as they have concerns over how long he plans to stay.
Okay.
This gentleman's coming into the country to meet somebody he's met on the internet. It's a girlfriend, and he's coming into the UK to see her for the first time.
And how long is it you're here for?
6 months.
6 months. And why have you come to the UK?
To eventually try to get married to my girlfriend. I proposed to her over online.
Oh, right. And she accepted? Oh, excellent.
The reason that we're going to search for his bags now is because the immigration officers have questioned him upstairs when they took his passport off him when he entered the UK. Because of what he said, his reason for staying here, that's why they want us to search his bags to see if there's any documents in there that's going to indicate he's going to stay in the UK for longer than what is intimating.
And when did you meet your girlfriend?
Back in October.
October 08? Yeah. Just gonna put that on there.
The man is being unusually candid, but his story has all the hallmarks of an immigration scam.
All right, so you met her in October 08. Where was that?
On an online game.
Oh, in an online game?
Yeah.
Oh, right. What game was that?
Second Life.
Second Life?
Yeah.
What's that all about? What kind of game's that? Is it like
it's a role-playing game.
All right.
Just a bunch of pictures.
Okay. Right, so you've proposed to someone you've never even met.
The man's honesty is starting to get him into trouble.
Talking on webcam long enough.
So when you get married, when do you plan to get married?
Well, we're gonna try to give it about a month or two, and then we're gonna, if we're still madly in love with each other, we're gonna go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And then we're gonna apply for the marriage visa.
Right, and where will he live? Will he live here or in the States?
I'll live with her.
Here.
But this is against immigration rules, and unless he begins to explain himself, the romance may have to remain online.
That's a pair of panties she sent me.
All right, it's okay. All right, this is the movie collection.
Yeah.
It seems the customs search is starting to go a bit deeper than the man would like.
What's that? Oh, right, this is your eyes. This is your private collection, is it? That's
yeah,
okay.
My dad tried stealing from me.
Got a bit of cannabis in there. It's a bit of weed there, is it?
Liz discovers what could be cannabis.
Know where it came from.
And suddenly
Yeah, I
the
mean, we're
man
in
becomes
search now.
evasive.
Is that what it is?
I'm not really sure.
You're not sure? Okay. You just standing on there for a minute?
The man's bid to meet his fiancée looks on increasingly shaky ground. In Gatwick, the suspected smuggler has been taken to the custody suite. Meanwhile, Warren investigates what's hidden inside the suitcase.
It's pretty well done, actually. Basically, you can see that it's got like a false bottom in it. What I want to do is just to spike it and test whatever's underneath. Let's see what we've got. There you can see, you've got like a white powder or paste on the end there. It's like a field test for cocaine.
Warren has found a
Get a
white
bit of
powder
powder on there
hidden
once you
deep
put the
in the
liquid on.
structure of the suitcase.
Yeah, you can see it start to go blue already. So we've got cocaine in there.
And it's a big haul for the team.
How much do you think's there, Warren?
3 kilos.
3?
2, 3.
That's good.
The man has to be held while a Bulgarian translator is found. The officers are now able to communicate the seriousness of the crime.
Right, for that reason, okay, he was arrested on suspicion.
И поради тази причина сте арестуван по подозрение,
Of being involved in the illegal importation
че сте бил замесен в нелегален внос
of a controlled drug.
на контролирано наркотик. Неконтролиран наркотик.
Наркотик?
Наркотик.
Какъв наркотик стана?
What drug do you mean?
It doesn't really matter at the moment, okay?
В момента няма значение за какъв наркотик става въпрос.
Ние смисъл такъв, откъде изляза?
Right, hang on a minute. Basically, all we're getting doing here, okay?
Where did it come from?
Well, I don't know. He'll have to explain that, and he'll get the chance to explain that later.
Ще ви се даде възможност да обясните това по-късно.
Okay, all we're concerned with at the moment is him realising or understanding why he's been arrested, okay?
В момента просто единственото, което трябва да разберете, защо сте бил арестуван.
For rookie drug dog Barney, it's his first seizure, and he's in line for a big reward from handler Darren.
I'm really pleased. He's a new dog to me, but he's doing really well. Ready? I think he's a star in the making. Good lad.
Back in Manchester, immigration have asked Customs Officer Liz to examine the bags of a passenger from the US with a suspicious story and some suspicious baggage.
This guy's just come over from America. He's come to see his internet girlfriend, who he's never met before. It sounds like he's intending to stay, so it sounds more like an immigration issue than from our point of view. I've just been looking. He's got some adult DVDs, but I've just found a little tiny, just little residue, potentially of cannabis, herbal cannabis, so I'm just going to give it a quick test and just see if it is or not. Yeah, so I've got a positive reaction. It's very, very small amount. I mean, obviously, he's been very upfront about what his intentions are, which could be unfortunate for him, depending on what immigration decide. But from what he's been saying to me, it does sound like he does intend to, you know, come over here to get married and to, you know, stay here with his wife when he gets married.
Liz thinks the cannabis is probably just a sign of personal use, and so decides to hand him back to immigration.
Yeah, it's reacted positively to cannabis. I mean, have you got any drugs on you at all today?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, what will happen now is we'll take you back upstairs. I'll just show the immigration officer the paperwork that I found. Okay, and then it'll be up to them then. They might want to ask you a few more questions. Okay. Basically, he's applied for a visit visa, which means he's come here for the purpose of tourism. When he's actually got to the immigration desk, he told the immigration officer that he's come to meet his girlfriend. So it sounds really like he doesn't intend to go back at all. So I've passed that information on to the immigration officer. They'll interview him and they'll make a decision about whether or not to let him come into the UK or whether to send him back home to America.
The man was allowed into the UK to meet his fiancée for the first time, but their relationship has been put on hold as he was returned to the United States the next day. The Bulgarian was charged with smuggling cocaine. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. The UK Border Agency is at war with smugglers in the ports and airports.
You don't have to say anything.
Get that out of my face.
Coming up, in Dover, cash dog Miller sniffs out some lies.
Wages or... Yeah, wages. So have you been working in England then? I thought you came here on holiday.
A suspect is caught with a stash of sensitive aircraft documents.
All his answers are sort of wavering. He's saying one thing, but he's not really backing it up. So he's not telling us the truth about something.
And it's all kicking off in Manchester.
He's having a conversation.
I'll tell you now, you have less of that now, otherwise I'll arrest you. I'll have you upstairs.
Right, let's just
pack it in now.
In Gatwick, a flight has just arrived from Trinidad. It's a well-known source of cocaine, and sniffer dog Rossi has just seconds to pick out any smugglers hiding amongst the innocent passengers.
You'll be all right.
Okay, thank you.
Your voice was frightened of the dog.
That's it. Okay.
Suddenly, Rossi picks up a scent and targets a woman in a white jumper.
Just stand still for me.
UK border sniffer dogs are trained to pinpoint the exact location of any drugs. Rossi indicates on the woman's bag.
Are you together? Are you training by yourself?
The passenger seems nervous, but after the initially strong indication, Rossi loses interest.
Where? Okay, thank you, madam. That's fine, thank you. He basically pulled to get to her, or get to her scent, so I dropped the lead, and he was all around her rucksack, and he dropped the floor, so he tried to get underneath it.
Back down into the channels anyway, just in case your guys have picked anything up down there.
Yeah, I might see what's in the bag anyway.
Meanwhile, Gatwick's newest drug dog Barney is examining the baggage from the same flight. Barney gives his strongest indication yet on this black and white spotted suitcase.
I've got a feeling it could be this lady here.
Officers watch as the same woman collects the bag.
And it is. All right, thank you.
With two separate indications, the officers think she must be smuggling cocaine. The team must keep the suspect under surveillance to make sure she doesn't slip away. But surprisingly, it's her who approaches the officers to ask for some directions. Fitz intercepts the passenger.
Hi, where are you travelling from today?
Here called Trinidad.
Trinidad. You travel on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, just have a quick word if that's all right. Hello.
But now the suspect seems more relaxed, even as Barney gives another unmistakable indication. The sniffer dogs believe the bags contain cocaine, but now it's up to Fitz to find it. In Manchester, UK border officers are on the lookout for people bringing in more than 200 cigarettes on a flight from Gran Canaria. They spot 2 bags full of cigarettes. Kevin puts them back on the carousel, giving the passengers the opportunity to declare the excess, using the phone provided in the customs red channel. Ignoring the signs, they walk through nothing to declare, and the passengers aren't happy to hear that the goods will now all be seized.
There's no signage and there and we have to go and pick a phone up. No, there's nothing to tell me to pick a phone up.
When you walk in here...
So can you categorically say I didn't go near that phone?
I can do, yeah, because I watched it. I went round the back of the belt, I x-rayed the flight. I seen you pick up your bags off the belt, and I watched you walk towards the green channel. You never went anywhere near the goods to the clear channel. You walked straight into the green channel saying, yeah, not to be clear. Okay? It's going to be no tax. It's going to be seized from me today.
The red phones have been there for years, but the man's still hoping to bend the rules.
There you go.
What's the crack here?
As the officers already said, there's signs out there.
No, there's nothing that says we have to pick a phone up though, is there?
Come on. We can't, there's nothing we can do. If you'd have declared them at the red point, you could have paid the dues.
Of course there's something you can do.
There's not.
No, I've never brought anything back in life.
Now other passengers decide to get involved.
No reason in the custom. They love to
It's not signs you
I'm talking to you, mate. I'm talking to you. Well, I'm not listening to you.
Right, I'll just show you the red point where the gentleman that's just been very abusive to us about not having the opportunity to declare the cigarettes. This is where he should have come. Bringing in excess goods, you should declare them at the red point. The gentleman's argument was there was no staff behind the red point. We tried to explain that there's a red phone there for him to use, and he said, well, he shouldn't have to do that. There's no signs telling you to do that. And there quite clearly is. It says there, goods to declare, you must speak to an officer or make your declaration using the red telephone. So, he's not got a leg to stand on, I'm afraid.
And now the man decides to turn nasty.
The fact that, you know, you've got an asshole like you, and you've got a manager who's got no discretion, you're not going to be sweeping the floor.
Unfortunately, that's the way people get. It's just, they get upset because they're having a cigarette seized from them.
Despite clearly being guilty, the men haven't finished abusing the officers just yet. Back in Gatwick, the suspected cocaine smuggler picked out by the sniffer dogs is now being searched.
They did this over there, so it doesn't matter what
Sorry,
how you pack it back or whatever.
Right, oh, okay.
Because they pretty much messed it up.
Who was that?
They checked the bags and whatever across there.
They checked them before you came out, did they?
They
Right.
did the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So they pretty much messed it up. So.
Right.
With 3 separate sniffer dog indications on the bags.
Okay, I just need to do a quick x-ray of your suitcase, all right?
Yeah.
UK border officer Fitz is convinced he'll find something inside.
All right, doesn't seem to give us that much information about it, so probably have to do a further examination. I'll take it to the tool room and have a look, have a closer look, actually.
Surprisingly, Fitz can find no sign of cocaine. And even the drug swab is clear.
Well, they actually ascertain there's nothing in there. No, which is a bit of a shame, really, as it was a good indication by the dogs, I must admit.
It's disappointing, but with such strong suspicions, Fitz isn't willing to give up the search just yet.
That's the thing that you plug into the television.
Right.
It's a games console dance mat, but something doesn't add up.
Has you got a PlayStation with her?
No.
So why would you have one of these anyway?
Yeah. Right, round 2. I mean, it is heavy as hell.
Fitz then spots the clue he's been after.
The actual casing looks like it's already been removed once before.
This acts like a sniffer dog. It's just looking for minute particles of substances that really sky high. It's got to be there.
Suspicions are now even higher, but where are the drugs?
Is that rubber impregnation?
That's what I think it is.
Mm.
Ever seen it in a dance mat?
Have you tried doing it on that? You can break the...
Yeah, that's what...
Have you broke a bit off?
No, you can do if you want to. The material's gone blue. Oh. I can't say that's a positive then.
Amazingly, the rubber inside the dance mat is full of cocaine.
The time is 10 past 10. I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of a controlled drug.
It just goes to show, with smugglers using ever more devious methods, the officers can take nothing for granted.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence, do you understand? Okay.
The officers' persistence has paid off, and yet another smuggler has been caught red-handed.
North.
The drugs were ingeniously hidden, and one member of the team deserves a special reward.
Knock yourself out, you little star. Well, he's just had his second job in 3 days to cocaine detections, which is unprecedented for such a new dog. He's only been in the job for 6 months. It's brilliant. But in the meantime, he's going to get this as a treat because it's just an unbelievable job for such a young dog.
And while Barney enjoyed his bone, the woman won't be enjoying her freedom. She pleaded guilty and could be facing around 10 years in prison. Back in Manchester, the angry passengers want to appeal against the decision to seize their cigarettes. But they're now refusing to sign the paperwork.
I had 600 cigs, so I can't remember what it says.
After 2 hours, the men are starting to test the officer's patience.
There you go. That is my argument. Right. Whether it goes to appeal or not, he won't get his cigarettes back. Okay. You won't get your cigarettes back because you've entered the goods nothing to declare channel, stating that you've got nothing to declare. And I followed you straight to the green channel.
Dad, just it. Can't be with it. It's just job worse.
Well, I was going to say that we've got more pressing things to do than stand here arguing with you. I couldn't agree with you more.
The already tense exchange is about to escalate.
Again, you need to just learn that you learn what? Man, why are you talking like that?
Don't talk to me like I'm a piece of shit, lad.
Yeah, hold on, you're the one who was talking to us like a piece of shit.
Laughing for no reason. Don't try to tell me what to do. Stand up.
He's having a conversation.
I'll tell you now, you have less of that now, otherwise I'll arrest you and I'll have you upstairs.
Right, let's just
pack it in now.
And they were getting quite abusive, and it was getting to the stage where we thought they might be having to arrest them for obstruction or even assault. It was getting close to them. It looked like they were going to lash out. Right, I've not been rude or abusive job. I've tried to be... Luckily, we talked them round and they've left in the end, but I'm not very happy because we had the cigarettes seized. Just straight down there and then round to your left.
The illegal cigarettes will now be destroyed. Coming up, officers stop a suspected terrorist.
All his answers are sort of wavering. He's saying one thing, but he's not really backing it up. So he's not telling us the truth about something.
Coming up, Cash Dog Miller sniffs out some lies.
It's wages or... So have you been working in England then? I thought you came here on holiday.
In Manchester's Terminal 2, a flight has just touched down from Dubai. A man acting strangely has been intercepted by the UK border officers. Inside the suspect's bags, Gary has found flight manuals and pilot training information.
He's just looking very edgy, very nervous, but he's got a He's got all sorts of literature on planes. He says he's just an enthusiast, but he says it looks too detailed, really. It looks like confidential stuff.
So, for you to draw a flight desk simulation of planes, where are you getting that information from? Internet. So everything that you've got in front of me here, you have copied from the internet. What?
The internet, yeah.
All the stuff that you have in here.
Yeah.
It's just something very, very strange. Yeah. So you just have a look at him and he wants to go.
I know he's looking at you.
The gentleman come through off the Dubai flight, some single traveller. He seemed nervous in the way he was entering the channels head down, sluggish walking, avoiding eye contact with me, to be honest. Basically found a lot of literature with regards to flying, flight schools, avionics of the plane, and various courses with regards to cabin crew.
As Gary digs deeper, the details become more and more incriminating.
Why have you got information about fighter planes?
Well,
combat planes, weapons.
Well, these were. I was interested during the RAF ones.
You were interested in what? Sorry.
Joined the RAF for Royal Air Force.
Okay, so you're trying to self-teach yourself by learning from the internet how to fly planes.
No, from that. I'm just getting some information from the internet. That's what I'm doing.
So you're just getting some information
The man's lack of answers is worrying Gary.
of aircraft by the looks of all this stuff.
I'm just making a book, that's all.
So you're now making a book?
No, I'm not making a book. What I'm doing, because I go on these planes all the time. You can see my passport. I went to flying school in Bangladesh. The aircrafts were too old.
What was the name of the flying school?
Bangladesh flying school.
Okay, how long were you at Bangladesh flying school for?
No, I wasn't there for long. I just went to see.
You just told me you were at flying school.
Yeah, I went there to see the aircraft. That's all. Just to look at this stuff.
So weren't taught anything in lessons at all?
No, I've not took any trial lessons yet. No.
Well,
I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not.
Okay, like I asked you before, are you just sort of learning to be a pilot from information you were downloading from the internet?
No. I mean,
so where's all this information?
I've made them. I've collected. No one helped me. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, I'm no sort of aircraft specialist, but some of this seems quite sensitive. If this got in the wrong hands, it could be quite.
Gary finds a hard drive with more aircraft data.
Aircrafts.
That you've downloaded off the internet?
Yeah.
When did you last go to Bangladesh before this trip?
The man's odd behaviour and contradictions are increasingly alarming.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Don't remember. You said you travelled all the time.
Yeah, I do, but it's a passport thing. I remember when travel.
You're not making sense, really.
The man's answers are becoming more vague, and his story sounds stranger all the time.
When I was young, I went to college, school, I had friends. I've lost everything. I lost my friends, mates, everything. Everyone's gone.
He doesn't seem to be able to back anything up that he's talking about. All his answers are sort of wavering. He's saying one thing, but he's not really backing it up and backtracking on things. So he's not telling us the truth about something. So we're going to swab his bag, screen it for explosives.
The officers believe the man may be involved in terrorist activities, and the suspect is saying nothing to explain the documents. Gary has called in Special Branch while they await the result of the swab for explosives. On a night shift in Dover, officers are monitoring outbound vehicles on the hunt for large amounts of cash which may be linked to crime. Ben is questioning a Polish vehicle, looking for any clues that they may have something to hide.
How much money have you brought to England with you? 3,000. And how much are you taking back to Poland now? How much money do you have left? 1,600. Is that between all of you, yes?
No,
£1,600 each?
Ben thinks the group are telling lies.
So you each brought £3,000 to England, and you all take 1,600 back for you. And it's all in £50 notes as well? And where did you get the money from then?
from Polish exchange point.
And they just gave it in 50s, not in smaller? Okay, that's good. If you can bring your money and yourselves and come out the car, and then we go.
The specially trained sniffer dog will now search the Polish vehicle for cash to see if the passengers are telling the truth. As Miller and dog handler Bo search the car, Ben presses the passengers on their story.
So what have you spent your money on while you've been here in England?
Fun. Clubs and drinking and stuff like that.
Okay, and you've all got 1,600.
The car is clear. But Miller picks up a cent in one of the rucksacks.
Is there more money in that bag? No?
Just show me this bag.
The man denies having any more cash, but Miller has found an envelope which gives Ben reason to believe the group are lying to him.
So that's where money's been. Was that in this bag, is it? All right. It's wages or?
Yeah, wages.
That's had money in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was.
This,
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
that's
was.
why the
Yeah, it was.
that's why the dog smells it. So have you been working in England then? I thought you came here on holiday.
Yes, those guys before.
Who was on holiday? But not you. You work in England. So why didn't you say you work in England? Do you all work in England? Are you sure? It's not a problem if you work in England. Just tell me if you do. You don't work in England. You're on holiday. So it's not wages that you're taking back to Poland. You sure?
Yeah.
What about yours? Is yours wages that you take home? Because it 859, 803, 1,600 pounds, 1,600 pounds, 16. So do you work in England or not? Yeah, I think you work in England. So why you say you don't work in England? It's not a problem now. You're Polish. You can work in England. Yeah? Okay. So you do work in England.
Yeah, sorry for that.
So if it hadn't been for your wage slips, you'd have been all right.
The needless lie has been uncovered.
Obviously now, the Poland's in the European Union. They can work in the UK, but for whatever reason, I don't know whether they're scared to tell us the truth, they're actually working here, or whether it's just a case of they don't want to say how much money they're taking out of the country, so they've all come out with the story that they've come here on holiday, each got £1,600 left, and then they're taking it back to Poland, so it didn't really ring true. 1,600, 1,600, 1,600, okay?
It's clever really, because sometimes that happens, you know, someone lies about the amount of money they've got and then the dog will indicate on an item of paperwork that's been with their money, which is obviously why the dog indicated.
It's a barefaced lie, which officers are used to.
Sometimes we don't know why they lie, but sometimes we do find it out, and it's the smallest of reasons, really.
The passengers have done nothing illegal and are free to go. In Manchester, the officers are dealing with something potentially far more serious. They've stopped a passenger with a bag full of sensitive aircraft data. The explosive swab found no trace, but now they found evidence of multiple foreign trips paid for by someone else.
Basically, we found a lot of information about aircraft flight simulators, different magazines, different information on fuel from aircraft.
What planes are these? Are these small planes and commercial aircraft?
No. The Boeing planes, aircraft, the real aircraft, the
Big long.
Yeah.
Gary calls in Special Branch to tell them about the suspect's strange story.
My mum's boyfriend pays for it as well. Not only my dad. I've got my mum's boyfriend. He's an Englishman.
Go back to the bag for
Yeah.
In a climate of global terrorism, the officers need to be on the lookout for all suspicious behavior.
That's the cabin crew information.
I don't want the cabin crew, but you can keep me if you want. Because I'm not doing any work on these.
This is the list of...
That's on the passport I've that's on the passport I've...
He's flown. And does that tally with what's in his passport? 2003, 2008, he said his tape took off 34 times and landed 34 times.
Gary and the UK border officers have taken the questioning as far as they can. They now hand the suspect over to Special Branch for further investigation.
Do you want to get your bags and just come and have a word with us?
Cheers, mate. I mean,
There's nothing secret. I won't keep a secret.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, no worries.
For Gary and the team, the strange encounter comes to an end.
I can't understand why he's doing all these trips. Just could be in his own little fantasy world.
He might be a bit of a fruitcake or a chance.
The man is led away for questioning, while the border officers wait to find out the cause of the man's strange behaviour. The man with the suspicious aircraft documents was questioned by Special Branch, but was later released without charge, and no further action taken against him. The UK Border Agency is at war with smugglers in the ports and airports.
You don't have to say anything.
Get that out of my face. Just leave it.
Coming up, in Gatwick, officers arrest a drug smuggler after making a painful discovery.
It's what we would call a stuffer's package, which would be put up somebody's backside, probably.
Not scared of customs officers, are you?
Officers stop a man travelling with a boy, and it turns out he's not the father.
So you've been asked to take this child back to its mum.
And smug answers don't wash with border officers in Manchester.
Don't insult my intelligence, mate. On your best day, you're not as good as me on my worst day.
In Gatwick, a flight has arrived from Montego Bay. During a routine passenger search, UK border officers have found a package that looks like it could contain drugs. The passenger has been arrested.
The lady came off the Montego Bay flight and she was intercepted by one of our officers. Upon searching her bag, he found a package which we believed to contain cocaine. Took her to a search room. Whilst the package was being tested, the package tested positive for cocaine.
Knowing she's been caught red-handed, the woman confesses to other packages of drugs hidden under her clothes.
Right. This is what was found in the back of the suitcase. It's what we would call a stuffer's package, which would be put up somebody's backside, probably. But that was found in the bag, and that was what we decided made it a job. And then during the strip search, we found this, which is all full of cocaine attached to her waist.
The audacious smuggling attempt also involved some highly modified underwear.
This little body packer suit filled with cocaine.
It's a massive amount of drugs for one person to be carrying.
Nearly 2.5 kilos of coke on the body.
The seizure demonstrates the officer's skill in identifying smugglers.
Just stopped just to ask her a few questions. No real reason to stop her over anybody else. Historically, we tend to get more cannabis than we do cocaine in the flight. So she obviously saw her opportunity, knowing what she had on her person, and just walked through the channels. Unfortunately for her, she was stopped. Are we cuffing?
Suddenly realizing how much trouble she's in, the woman goes into shock.
Right, no more jumping around, okay? Stand up straight. Yeah? You're gonna walk with me? You're gonna walk?
You're gonna behave yourself.
I know it's hard, but you just need to.
The woman is taken to a holding bay for further questioning. Officers will need to be extra vigilant to ensure that she doesn't try to harm herself again. In Manchester, officers have received a call for backup from the other terminal. A passenger's fruit has given a massive hit for Class A drugs.
We've just been called over to Terminal 3. There's a lady, I believe, travelling from Barbados. Is it via Gatwick, Gary? Or Heathrow? It's on one of the shuttles. We believe they've found cocaine in yams. So we're just coming over to see what's going on.
Cocaine can be hidden anywhere. And with a street value of £50,000 per kilo, smugglers will go to extraordinary lengths to avoid detection.
Yams. Have you x-rayed them?
I've x-rayed them, just a bulky mass.
Right.
You couldn't tell from the x-ray whatsoever.
The initial trace was off the scale, but Border Officer Liz thinks it may be a false alarm.
Okay, we're not sure we've actually got anything. The officer spiked one of the yams and he's got a really high reading for cocaine off the machine there, but it's possible just contamination on the spike, so we're just going to cut right into these. We've had it in mangoes, coconuts, pineapples. Looks like there's nothing in these though, unfortunately.
Investigating further, the officers discover more potentially incriminating details. The woman's passport is brand new and her ticket was paid for in cash.
Is someone meeting her?
Her mum says she's
I mean, if you want to put stab vests on, and go and have a word and just verify a story, there's no harm there.
Still suspicious, the officers decide to investigate the woman's claim she's being met by her mother.
Obviously, for our protection, we need to have body armour on, in case, if it is a drugs job, people who are meeting will obviously be looking for those drugs and be rather upset. So we need to be armoured up.
Just going to take your shoes for a second, that's yours as well.
Officers continue to carry out further tests for drugs.
Go ahead. When someone's got an internal concealment for drugs, their sweat comes out onto the shoes and the drugs shows in the sweat. So it's an indication that they might have something. They could have taken something, but it gives us grounds to do an internal body scan or something like that. It's come back negative, so there's no trace on the shoes.
The woman's ordeal continues as the team carry out more drug tests on the baggage.
But she's not really got many clothes or anything for a month's stay. It's that bag as well, that's a bag Constellation that a while ago we had a lot of seizures in.
A radio message comes through from the officers sent to meet the woman's mother.
No, there's no one out there waiting for her.
Yes.
It's very strange though that her mum's not waiting for her outside, but you know, that in itself is not enough, is it?
So she might have been delayed.
With no sign of the mother, the woman remains under arrest until the officers can prove that she's telling the truth. In Gatwick, the woman found carrying 2.5 kilos of cocaine has been transported to the custody cells.
You okay?
Keep walking forward. Have you got anything inside you that's hurting? No?
No.
Do you want to come forward? Want to take a
Having
seat
tried
for
to
me?
harm herself, officers have handcuffed the woman for her own protection.
If the officer takes you, I understand you were banging your head upstairs. If the officer takes your cuffs off, you promise me not to do that here, yeah?
Just move this way.
I don't want you damage. I'm here to look after your welfare and your rights and your health. I don't want you damaging yourself while you're here. Right.
Lift your hands up for me.
This lady's arrived from Montego Bay this morning. Search of her hand baggage revealed a cylindrical package. Cut was made in the package, which revealed a white paste.
Harold, are you? Sorry, can't hear you. Have you also swallowed? I need to know from a health and safety point of view. If you have, it's a danger to yourself.
I don't take drugs.
Okay. So you haven't swallowed anything as well? Okay, that's good.
Having found a substantial amount of cocaine on her person, officers must make sure
What
she's
it
not
is it's just
carrying
going to be
drugs
another search.
anywhere else.
And then there's the hairpiece.
All right. I didn't even notice that, was it? Happy with what's in that, yeah?
Yeah, I've searched it already. When we told her that we were going to take her to custody and put her into a cell, she started slapping her own face and banging her head on the table, which is obviously not a good sign. So myself and another officer ran into the room and restrained her and applied some handcuffs. We now have to watch her because of her behaviour, and you know, we have to be extra alert, not knowing how she's going to react when she gets locked into a cell, how she's going to act when she's on her own, if she's going to try and harm herself. I do feel sorry for them sometimes because you wonder what it takes for them to actually do something like this. Yeah, just that amount on the person, 2.5 kilos is a lot to have. It's quite greedy.
Having already shown signs that she's prepared to self-harm, officers must ensure that nothing further happens to her whilst in their custody.
Because of that sort of thing, she might try and top herself, so we have to watch them on camera.
And she'll have to get used to being locked up. She was sentenced to 7 years in prison. In Manchester, officers are discussing the woman arrested on suspicion of smuggling cocaine in yams.
I don't really think I've got enough to do it any further.
I don't think you've got enough to go any further, to be honest with you. But obviously, the reason you arrested her in the first place is because you thought you had drugs in the yams. Now, if you haven't...
To unarrest her?
Well, yeah. But wait for Gary to come back in and see what Gary says, because obviously he's in charge. But I would say you haven't really got enough.
No.
Officer Gary radios through to say he's finally met the woman's mother outside.
All right, okay.
Having found no further evidence of cocaine, officers accept their false readings must have come from using a contaminated knife.
We've looked in your bags, we've looked further, and in further investigation, looking into the yams and stuff, there isn't anything in there. We've made a mistake. When we tested it, it's given a false reading on our machine, so there isn't anything in there. So you're no longer under arrest. And I want to apologise for keeping you, but thank you for your patience anyway, and you can relax now, okay? So we're going to repack all your bags, and then we'll let you go outside, all right? Okay, and hopefully you'll enjoy your holiday here.
Whilst it's been an unnecessary ordeal for the woman, it shows that Class A drug hits must be investigated properly to ensure only guilty smugglers end up behind bars.
This way, that's the way out. Okay, just keep going through. Thank you.
Coming up, smug answers don't wash with the border officers in Manchester.
Don't insult my intelligence, mate. On your best day, you're not as good as me on my worst day.
Coming up...
You're not scared of customs officers, are you?
Officers stop a man travelling with a boy, and he's not the father.
So you've been asked to take this child back to its mum?
It's a quiet afternoon at Manchester Airport. A flight from Sweden has just landed, and UK border officers have caught a suspected cigarette smuggler walking through baggage reclaim.
We've got three big suitcases full of ciggies. So you're going to have to come down. They're all going to need these left in, I think. You have to come down. You're going to have looks like they're all loose in that, so we're going to have to count them.
Do you speak English? Don't mess around. A bit, yeah. You can see you speak enough English to smuggle cigarettes. Right, what flight are you on?
You get a ticket?
Stockholm flight. What carousel were you on? This carousel?
The man started his journey in Estonia, a known source country for cheap cigarettes.
Just noticed this guy leaving, and they're all full. Where'd you come from? Sweden. We started his journey in Estonia. And when did you fly back to Estonia?
No.
Hmm? What do you mean you don't know?
No. Sometime.
You must have a ticket to go back to Estonia.
Yes, I know.
Well, when is it?
I don't feel it yet.
You haven't been given it yet?
I haven't voted yet.
No, what day are you flying back to Estonia?
I haven't decided yet.
Right, in here.
Seasoned Officer Gary isn't amused by the man's vague answers.
I've just obviously got to come outside and saw this guy wandering around outside looking for the exit, and when I looked at his bags, they look quite square. So when I went over to speak to him, he told me he was from Estonia, which is a place where a lot of people bring cigarettes in from. When I felt the bag, they were rock hard, which suggests to us that they're full of cigarettes, and they are.
Happy days.
So how many times have you been to the UK?
A few.
How many?
The man's failure to answer simple questions is starting to annoy Gary.
Look, let's start from the beginning. Don't play stupid, right?
What do you mean?
Don't pretend that you don't know how many times you've been to the UK. You do know. Is it once, twice, 3 times, 10 times?
3 or 4.
Well, let's find then that's the answer.
I don't remember exactly.
What do you mean you don't remember? When was the last time you came here? Long time ago. When? I can go in and check the airlines, so either tell me the truth or I'll find out.
I tell you, maybe a couple of months.
Right. And on that occasion, you had cigarettes as well?
No.
No.
As officers uncover more and more cigarettes, it looks like it could be their biggest seizure ever. At Gatwick Airport, passengers are preparing to board a flight to Ghana. The UK Border Officers cash team is using specially trained sniffer dogs to search out large amounts of money, which could have links to organised crime.
Okay, you're not scared of customs officers, are you? Sorry? Not scared of customs officers. This ticket, did you buy this yourself?
No, my sponsor.
You who?
My sponsor bought it for
Your sponsor?
In Ghana.
In Ghana.
As well as looking for large sums of cash, officers are on the lookout for drugs and to check the immigration status of passengers.
Hello. Do you carry any cash with you today?
Yeah.
Are you done show us around how much you have with you?
I think it's 1,000 I'm going to be to smart.
Yeah, how much do you have? That's the question I asked. Money.
1,050.
Any more?
Any more cash?
Any
And
more
then
cash?
my personal cash.
How much do you have in total?
Roughly, let's say about 400. My personal cash.
Okay. Thank you.
The man's answers are not entirely convincing for Senior Officer Paul.
Hello, it's just two of you travelling.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just have a quick word with you.
Okay.
No, you got your hands full there. You told the officer when the dog indicated you had £400 in personal cash.
Yeah.
Are you carrying any cash for anybody else at all?
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm a smart.
How much have you got in total?
1,050.
Could you show me that, please?
Yes.
Is there any more cash in the baggage here?
No.
So, who does the child belong to? Is it your son? Is it
No, it's a friend.
So you've been asked to take this child back to its mum?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second.
The man's story rings alarm bells for Paul.
How much do you have with
I need your help in a minute.
Okay.
What's your relationship?
It's a family friend.
And where's the father at the moment?
The father is at the airport.
At the airport?
Yes.
He's not flying, though?
No, he's not flying.
This gentleman's taken a child out that's not his.
Right.
With the flight due to leave in 20 minutes, officers have a race against time to verify the man's story.
So, where does the child normally live? In Ghana or in the UK?
This is my first time here. I came to meet him here.
Right.
And we go to check together. And he asked me if I can do him a favor and take his son to Ghana. But the dad is at the airport.
So the parents live in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay, right. What we've got is a situation where a gentleman is travelling out with a small boy. He's not related to the child. So I'm going to try and make some inquiries with the parents to check where the child normally lives. The child appears to have been here about a year on a visit visa, which is possibly longer than we would expect on that type of visa. So I want to know what the immigration status of the parents is as well, really.
With passengers starting to board the plane, a decision must be made imminently about whether the man and the child will be leaving the country.
Do you know what the full number is?
In Manchester, officers are still counting the thousands of cigarettes intercepted from an Estonian smuggler.
So who are you meeting outside?
Nobody.
Who are you giving these cigarettes to?
Somebody.
Yeah, who? Don't you know his name?
I don't know. I just bring it here
And he will take them off you outside?
No.
Where'd you have?
Me, myself.
Where'd you have to go to hand them over? Manchester?
Maybe London.
London?
Maybe. It's not the point where.
No, it is to me. It may not be to you, but I'm asking you, where do you take the cigarette? If you don't know, don't they tell you where the cigarettes are going?
Who they?
Well, you're not doing this on your own, are you? It's obviously a gang.
Why? Why I cannot be myself?
Don't insult my intelligence, mate. Right? On your best day, you're not as good as me on my worst day. Right, so either say nothing. Don't give me any rubbish. I know what's going on here. Right?
It takes 3 officers to count the enormous haul of cigarettes.
Total count is 46,560.
It's a huge seizure of cigarettes with a street value of more than £20,000.
As you're probably aware, all these cigarettes are going to be seized. Do you understand that? And all the bags that they were carried in are going to be seized, right?
Why bags?
Because I said so. Right, what I'm doing now, I'm getting you a receipt for the cigarettes, right? I'm going to give you a receipt. I'm going to give you a warning letter, because next time you will be arrested. Do you understand that? You come in here with all these cigarettes again, I will arrest you. Understand? Okay? There's the door.
With no previous convictions, the man is allowed to go free. But next time, he'll end up behind bars.
They try and think that they can say whatever they want to say. No, at the end of the day, we will arrest these people. I just don't like the idea that they can just be so blasé about it all, as if we can't do anything about it. Well, we will.
At Gatwick Airport, officers have just minutes to decide whether a child will be allowed to leave for Ghana with a man who isn't his father.
Right, I've just checked the status of the mother and the father. The father appears to be in the UK on some sort of permit.
If you hold the line 1 second, put the father on the phone.
Hello, sir. Hi, I understand you're the child's father. Right, yeah, and you've given a covering letter for Mr. Bonsu to travel with the child. OK. Can you just confirm to me, sir, what's your own immigration status in the UK? How long have you got your visa for? Do you know when they rejected that application? When would that be, roughly?
You can understand the reasons why we need to make sure.
Maybe someone may kidnap somebody's son.
Exactly, that's the reason. Particularly with children.
Yeah.
And have you made any application for the child to be in the UK as a resident?
As the final call is made for all remaining passengers, officers must quickly make a decision.
You right there, Jane?
Yeah, I've spoken to the father and I've done some checks with our own database and he's able to verify some of what's on there, so I'm happy that he is the father.
Right,
so
they're going to allow to travel?
Yeah. I'm endorsing the passports with their departure date, well, with the child's anyway, because he's been here too long on the wrong visa, basically. But the checks confirm our records, so yeah, I'm going to allow them to travel. Better get them on their way, though. OK, I spoke to the father and he's verified most of my checks, so that's fine. OK, there you go. Cheers then. Thank you.
Although under pressure, the officers are happy they've made the right decision.
I was very aware that the clock's ticking and you've got to make a decision, you know, whether to offload them and make a whole load more inquiries, but yeah, I think I wrapped it up just in time.
In Manchester, 2 weeks later, officers had an even bigger cigarette seizure from Eastern Europe, although Gary is yet to see the Estonian man again. The UK Border Agency is at war with smugglers in the ports and airports.
You don't have to say anything.
Get that out of my face.
Coming up, a suspect claims she's been treated unfairly despite the evidence.
What we don't know is what somebody's smuggling looks like.
Me, I don't do this.
No.
Officers go toe-to-toe with an angry passenger in Manchester.
Robbers just want more money off us.
Let out!
And for this travelling chef...
What's on there?
TV appearance. I'm arresting you on...
Smuggling drugs is a recipe for disaster. In Gatwick, a flight from St Lucia has just landed. As the passengers disembark, UK border officers and sniffer dog Lucy are waiting, on the hunt for any traces of Class A drugs.
Thank you. Thank you.
The officers are also on the lookout for suspicious behaviour.
Thank you.
And when Lucy shows interest in this couple...
That's fine, thank you. Can you slow your bag for me? Yeah.
Both passengers seem nervous.
Thank you.
Handler Claire tracks the couple through passport control to baggage reclaim, where the search officers are waiting.
Yeah, they're sort of to the right, came away, because he is looking this way, but I think he's just sort of looking everywhere in general anyway.
Yeah, Jason was saying that he's pretty nervous.
The team keep a close eye on the suspect as they head for the exit. When an officer stops the woman,
Hiya, where have you arrived from today? St. Lucia.
the man seems to walk on.
So you travelling together?
Yes.
Yeah, do you mind just stopping at the bench for me, please?
But the officer pulls him over as well. Separating at the channels is a tactic often employed by smugglers, and the officers start to think they may be onto something.
Just need to ask you a few questions about the bags. Obviously, are you travelling together? Have you been together for the week?
Yes, I'm actually unemployed, but I do escorting on the side, so I do get some money.
Okay, have you packed the bags yourselves?
Yeah, I have.
Are you fully aware of the contents of your bags? Yeah.
The passengers seem a little jumpy.
You all right?
Yeah, I've got tummy.
And the officer notices her laptop is held together by sticky tape.
That's one yours. Okay, can you turn it on for me? Have you got the battery?
Officers at Gatwick have recently found drugs hidden in laptops, and this one looks highly suspicious.
Well, if it goes to the X-ray, we don't need to put it apart, do we? We're just having a look at it because it's got tape all over it, which isn't usual.
Sorry?
It's got tape all over it.
Yeah, so I'll do it together.
Okay then, there's not going to be a problem, is there?
The laptop is clear, but with around 1,500 kilos of cocaine seized at the border every year, the officers know to investigate every possible angle. And there's still one bag that needs to be searched.
You got a little rucksack, dude? Do you have a rucksack?
Yeah, I took it in my bag.
Yeah. Have a quick look in the rucksack.
Got dirty washing in it.
They swab the inside of the rucksack for traces of drugs. They now need to look again to find out where the cocaine trace may have come from.
That comes to them.
There you go.
Basically, what we did there was a swab of your bag, and it came up with a hit of heroin. Heroin cocaine. Have you used any cocaine whilst you've been away? Have you got anything in the bag at all?
No, not that. No.
That is your bag, is it?
No, you have to check.
Inside the rucksack is a plastic bag.
Have you got in there in that
bag?
What is? You tell me what is in your bag.
What's on that bag?
Okay, just take your hands off it. Then you don't know this is yours.
No, that would be put in there. No.
You stand back from me.
Someone took our bags to the airport. We had to check in.
Yeah, we had customs checks at the airport.
Yeah.
Just stand there for me.
Hotel, yeah.
You're saying you don't know what this is? Okay, stay there, please.
Are they drugs?
Stay there a sec. Yeah, there we go. Coke. See the white there? It is what it is. It's just cylinders of cocaine.
Is it?
Yeah. So they were arrested at 6:56.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What was it then?
It is, I'm afraid, it's tested positive for cocaine.
Is it?
So I need you both to listen to what I'm going to say.
Go on then.
Okay, it's 06:56 on the 15th of July. I'm arresting you both on the suspicion of being involved with the importation of a controlled drug. You do not have to say anything. It may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't, but...
Yeah. It's like a load of cocaine, I'll tell you.
The couple are taken into custody, denying any knowledge of the importation.
I haven't done anything wrong. That's been planted on us, you know.
Okay, well,
I'm telling you.
you're under arrest and you have been advised that you don't have to say anything.
The investigation into who the drugs belong to can now begin. In Manchester, officers are always on the lookout for bags arriving from EU countries containing large amounts of tobacco. The officers need to stop and question the passengers to make sure the goods are all for personal use.
Hey, mate.
But this passenger is far from happy.
You're not. You're not. You're being cheeky and unprofessional. We're allowed them. And yes, how many we could bring in, we brought them in, we tell them we're open, not allowed to do this. Why tell us we're allowed to do it? We can bring them in and then stop us and give us this crap. You're being nice, you're being horrible. You singled us out. You stood there, watched us. You picked no one up. You see the camera, mate.
The man's aggression is starting to escalate.
Cheeky. You're cheeky. We're allowed to buy cigarettes. We smoke. Why should we pay your government massive prices? Eh? Hey, you robbers. You robbers. 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 Oh, you can't help me now, mate. Robbers, robbers, robbers just want more money off us.
With the man now threatening to lose control, more officers arrive to help calm the situation.
Let out, let out, let out, let out.
All this before the officers have started the search.
Yeah, that's the Yankee one.
The woman's tobacco is below the guidelines, but if she's caught bringing in a similar amount again, it may be seized.
Right, now. Come now, home. Well, come on. Stop asking us. Get off our back.
The woman understands,
Cheeky.
but the man is still angry.
The person was actually quite angry and agitated because he'd been intercepted by my officer. I thought he was going to attack one of my colleagues, so obviously I took a position just in case, if anything was to happen, I could actually take the person down. Doesn't happen too often, but when it does happen, it can really escalate.
Thankfully, it all ends peacefully. Back in Gatwick, the two people caught with cocaine in their hand luggage are under arrest, and officers are working out the scale of the crime.
3 kilos, 0.590, probably 3 kilos at the end. We were looking at the bag, looking at the laptop, looking at something sophisticated, very well hidden. And to be fair, to find 6 big blocks like that in a bag, I haven't seen it for a long time.
The female suspect is a former heroin addict and is now asking for her medication.
We can't give you any medication, obviously, because we're not doctors. Listen to me. We need to do it. No, I understand that. We need to do a search of your person, and then we need to take you down to custody, and that's when you'll get given your solicitor, and we'll call in a nurse or a doctor.
I'll tell you what, I ain't done nothing, and I'm not even holding myself accountable for any of this because I've done nothing. I knew about nothing.
Okay.
It's been planted. My friend wouldn't do that.
Basically, you need to speak to your solicitor about those, okay? Tested positive for cocaine, and it's 3.5 kilos, which is
3.5
quite a lot.
The couple will now be strip searched.
I'm also going to have to get you to bend over at one point so I can see you've got nothing internally.
Of course,
okay?
of course.
Meanwhile, sniffer dog Lucy is brought in to be trained up on the unique scent of this cocaine seizure. With drugs varying widely in both purity and quality, any chance to give dogs a new scent increases their chances of sniffing out more smugglers. The suspects are now transferred to the custody suite for further questioning.
Baggage search of his rucksack, hand baggage, revealed a number of cylindrical shaped packages that tested positive for cocaine.
Do you have your own solicitor or do you want a duty? That's fine. We can arrange that for you. Do you want anyone notified you're here? No.
Cell 3, please.
Just take your shoes off and pop off.
As the female suspect arrives, the arresting officer brings the investigation team up to speed.
She's got nothing in hers.
You did her bag first?
Did her bag first, her and her handbag.
So they had separate baggage?
Yeah. He had it in his rucksack, all of it, 3.5 kilos, whatever it was, in his rucksack.
Which is not checked?
No, hand baggage.
Okay, yeah. And it was foil wrapped cylinders?
It's cylindrical, vacuum packed, I would say, vacuum packed packages. I haven't even counted how many, to be honest. And they straight away started saying that the bags were taken off them in St. Lucia, and they thought something was odd and they've been set up.
Being caught with this amount of cocaine is no laughing matter. Both suspects have since pleaded not guilty. But if convicted, this could be the first night of many behind bars. Still to come. A woman claims she's been treated unfairly despite the evidence.
No. Okay.
Coming up, officers get a coke hit from this man's toothbrush. But he's keeping his mouth shut.
Quite a strong hit, that.
In Gatwick, the sniffer dog teams are targeting a plane that's just arrived from St. Lucia. Following a number of recent cocaine seizures, the intelligence unit has identified a possible smuggler on this flight. It's up to the officers to find and search the suspect and find out if the information is correct.
It's on 6, 7 or 8, something up there.
Do you know what is she wearing anything distinctive?
Carrying a shoulder bag and a Louis Vuitton hand luggage as well. I just need to double check it is there actually. Coming up.
The woman is kept under surveillance as she passes through the airport.
She's about the 8th or 9th one going on.
That's fine. Thank you very much, madam. Can you just stand still for 1 minute?
Not all intel targets turn out to be smugglers, so sniffer dogs like Sam are the quickest way to work out if someone has been in contact with drugs. Sam picks up a scent, but can't pinpoint the source. So now it's up to Kevin to search and question the suspect.
Hello, where have you arrived from this morning? St. Lucia. Like to come over with me very quickly?
As Kevin begins the search, the woman seems edgy, and her body language is far from friendly.
Sorry.
I'm fed up.
Hopefully it shouldn't take too long.
It's the first this happened to me.
Yeah.
Every year,
Yeah.
never.
Unfortunately, we do get...
I don't
Oh, no, yeah,
anyway.
yeah, of course you don't.
I'm a decent person.
Yeah.
I don't deal with those
Yeah.
things. I work hard for my living.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what we don't know is what somebody's smuggler looks like. 'Cause they're not...
Me, I don't do this.
No.
I never get stopped
No.
since I'm traveling. Never.
Yeah.
Sometimes they pick the wrong person.
Kevin's beginning to think she isn't carrying drugs and is just upset at being delayed.
Right, so do a quick swab of your bag, okay?
A quick drug swab should find out.
She looks all right. I'll swab the bags and I'll...
The bag swab gives a surprising result.
Elsie need to check her bags fully. I was hoping to get you on your way quickly. I'm getting a contamination for cocaine. Right, no, let me explain, right?
Just open it.
I'll need to do everything, yeah. It'll take a bit longer, that's all. Okay? Right.
The suspect's becoming impatient, but the coke hit combined with the intelligence means she isn't going anywhere just yet. In Manchester, a flight has just landed from Paris. The French capital has connecting flights to all the world's drug source countries, and UK border officers are on the lookout for any smugglers trying to slip through in the crowd.
Simon, do you want to just come through here? Are you travelling on your own or are you with somebody? On your own? Just come through here, please. How long have you been out for?
3 days.
And what was the purpose of your trip?
Wedding in Paris.
This passenger arrived from Paris, but began his trip in Thailand.
Why did you go to Thailand for?
Why?
Yeah. All right, OK. So how long are you in the UK for?
Till Sunday.
Till Sunday. So what do you do in Thailand?
I'm a cook.
Border officer Zoobs is yet to catch his first cocaine smuggler, and disappointingly, this passenger's story sounds plausible. But a strong hit for cocaine from the passenger's passport raises suspicions. Next, Zoobs swabs the man's toothbrush to work out if he might be a user.
Quite a strong hit, that.
Zoobs gives the man a chance to explain the hits.
Right, I've just actually done a quick swab of your passport and your toothbrush. It's giving me high traces of cocaine.
Huh?
It's giving me high traces of cocaine.
Right.
Okay. Have you actually come into contact with cocaine in Thailand?
No. In Thailand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not a user.
But you're not a user.
No, I'm not.
So how do you explain cocaine traces from a toothbrush, which is personal just to yourself?
I don't know.
Right, okay.
With the man offering no explanation, Zoobs has to assume he's carrying drugs either in his bags or in his body.
Okay, I've actually had high hits of cocaine from the trainers, right? How do you explain all these stuff? Now, if you've actually used cocaine out there, I'm not interested.
In Thailand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
You've used it out there now?
I said that to you.
No, you said you didn't.
I did. I said that to you once or twice.
Just once or twice in the past. And
Yeah.
when was the last time that you've actually...
2 months.
About 2 months ago. Right.
You know, it's not a problem. We need to know if you've used in the past, you know, few weeks.
Yeah, I understand that.
And you're saying you haven't. Right. You sure?
But under pressure, the man changes his story again.
Well, so when was the last time?
I used it in Paris.
In Paris?
In Paris, so it actually wasn't 2 months ago.
He's finally admitted using, but as he's already lied, the officers need to make sure he's not carrying any drugs.
What's on there?
There's a TV appearing for me.
Of you? They're just a selection of CDs, and he's got one DVD. He's a celebrity chef, apparently. It's something to do with... that's what he said he was, a celebrity chef, some sort of TV programme. That's the passenger.
Although some of the story checks out, Zoob still thinks the passenger may be a smuggler.
Initially, he denied he was a user. He's admitted to the fact that he first told me he last used 2 months ago. And then he came down to the fact that at the wedding where he went to in Paris, they had a big session.
Have you asked him if he'd object to such?
I've not asked him, but
Just ask him.
just see the reaction, yeah.
Still on the hunt for his first ever cocaine seizure, Zoobs puts the man on the spot.
If we were to ask you for a search of a person, would you object to that?
I'm carrying 2 grams of cocaine. I have 2 grams of cocaine in my underwear.
Right, okay.
Zoob's persistence means he's just bagged his first ever cocaine seizure.
The time is 17:35. I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of controlled drug.
The man's admission is set to land him in a whole heap of trouble.
Take a seat on the back wall. That one.
And the seriousness of the crime is already starting to hit home.
Okay.
Back in Gatwick, Kevin is also dealing with a suspect whose bags are giving hits for cocaine.
Again, I've got low levels of cocaine. I'll have to go through this bag because I've got the same thing on this bag. And you may put your arm on the counter or...
But this woman isn't very understanding about the already lengthy delay.
Taking cocaine. And that can get on your clothes. Yeah. Just to put the bag through the X-ray. What we're looking for is concealments. It looks okay, it doesn't seem that heavy, but...
Having ruled out all other causes of the coke hits, Kevin's last job is to X-ray the case.
Yeah, there's some sort of thing here. It could well just be part of the bag makeup. I just did a check in the middle of the bag, just about there. There's nothing there.
The anomaly is just a bar of chocolate.
And that's what came up on the X-ray.
They found cocoa, but not cocaine. The woman is now free to go.
That's what was in there. Could you, yeah, because the lady wants to go away, actually.
Came in this morning, phoning me to come to me, or you come to my dress. It's so funny. I never have a problem since I'm travel. Even in St. Lucia's, I never have a problem.
This time, the search finds nothing. And despite Kevin's best efforts,
It's not easy.
the passenger isn't impressed.
Thank you.
Back in Manchester, the officers have the celebrity chef caught smuggling cocaine in his pants under arrest.
Yeah.
Want to go to jail?
He could be sent down. Importation of a Class A, so it's not a petty offence.
The smuggler's plan began confidently.
You gonna be sick?
But now he doesn't have the stomach to deal with the consequences. The man is visibly distressed, but Zoobs needs to get his hands on the cocaine hidden in his underwear.
you okay, sir? Are you okay to continue? Can you bend down, please? Part your buttocks, please. Okay, sir. 2 small packages in plastic bags. They were on his underwear. In the UK, one wrap probably about £50–60 for what it's actually worth. I mean, he's put his neck on the line.
It's a small seizure, but with serious consequences.
You do actually feel sorry for individuals, I mean, for doing things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, they've actually committed a crime.
It's especially significant for Zoobs, as it's his first ever Class A seizure.
This was my first arrest for cocaine, so my heart was actually pumping, and it's like, from speaking to colleagues, they say regardless how many times you actually do it, your heart does pump, you do get a buzz.
But there'll be no buzz from this cocaine. It will now be destroyed. A few days later, the man pleaded guilty and received 2 years conditional discharge for the crime. The UK Border Agency is at war with smugglers in the ports and airports.
You don't have to say anything.
Get that out of my face. Just leave it.
Coming up, suspicions are aroused by one passenger carrying 7 candles.
You know, it's quite a large amount of candles to have.
Where are they coming from?
One man forgets his manners whilst having his bag searched.
Okay, have a good meal on the plane. Sounded like you just had a 3-course roast dinner.
And officers get their hands dirty at Gatwick.
This one stinks. Ugh. No!
It's rush hour in Gatwick, and Class A drug dog Lucy is back in training. Her amazingly sensitive nose is about to be put through a training exercise. A flight has just arrived from Ghana, and officers have asked a passenger to hide a tiny sample of cocaine in their bag.
Thank you.
It's Lucy's job to find it amongst the crowd.
It's all right, don't be scared.
It's vital the sniffer dogs get experience of real-life situations.
Stand still for me, please. Good girl.
Lucy's nose can detect drugs at just a few particles per trillion and easily picks out the fake smuggler. But it's the passengers behind him who grab the officer's attention as 2 Eastern European men pass through with no hand luggage.
Blue Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, the other guy's
with the white top, a bit taller.
Yeah.
They're obviously together though, aren't they? So it'd be interesting if they don't come through together.
Mate, they're probably right, but just they sort of stood out when I saw them come off the flight, actually.
Gatwick's had a recent surge in Eastern Europeans smuggling cocaine from Ghana, so their suspicions are highly aroused.
We'll wait and see what happens here.
Over in the freight terminal, there's another job for the border officers, and there's no rest for sniffer dog Lucy.
We've got a bit of BA mail to do. She's going to sniff some boxes and some sacks and see if she likes any of it or not. If so, we'll ask Royal Mail to open the box. So let's go and give it a go.
Sniffer dogs are a vital tool in tracing drugs smuggled via post. But with millions of parcels coming through Gatwick every year, it's a time-consuming process.
Sit. Good girl. Where?
Almost immediately, Lucy picks out a box and gives a trademark indication.
Would you mind having a look at this box for me? She's showing a lot of interest and she sat down, which is a good indication.
Okay, I'll get Royal Mail to open it.
Okay, thank you. The officer has gone to Royal Mail to get them to open it because we're not allowed to open it ourselves. So I'm just waiting for them to come back now to see if there's anything in the box, and they can then examine whatever the contents of the box will be.
Royal Mail have opened the box, and officers can now inspect the contents.
Just having a look at the contents of the book, seems to be all wooden items. Plaques are quite common. I'll x-ray them, see if it shows anything.
The X-ray should show any hidden concealments.
Yes, you can see on this, the bigger one here was the first plaque that went in. There's a line round the edge, just here and here. Nothing in this one or this one.
With the X-ray showing a hidden concealment, there's only one way to find out what it is.
Yeah, you can see there's white powder here on the drill bit. I'll do the test now. Hopefully it should go blue and demonstrate the presence of cocaine. Yeah, it's just starting to go blue as it dries here, which confirms there's cocaine in the package.
It's an excellent find by Lucy.
I'm going to bring Lucy back in to reward her on her find. So we'll put it back into the box, put it back amongst the other boxes, and hope she'll find it again and she'll get her ball this time. We can't really give her her ball the first time because we don't know if there's anything there or not.
With the cocaine confirmed, Lucy gets her well-earned reward.
She takes a while to actually indicate. She sniffs it thoroughly first. So. There we go. Good girl. Clever girl. Girl. Yay. Good result. Yeah.
Across in the Gatwick custody suite, the officer's suspicion about the two Eastern Europeans was spot on.
Is that the Ritz? Hello, yeah, it's Kevin here. I'm in custody suite. We've got two smugglers.
Kevin and Mark questioned the suspected smugglers. The men were then X-rayed. Inside their bodies are dozens of packages full of cocaine.
You just take your clothes off, put this on.
Back down here for me.
The men will remain in custody until the packages have passed through their systems and the officers can collect and analyse the evidence. Meanwhile, a Lithuanian translator has been brought in to explain the situation.
Right, because he's got packages inside him, we will put him in a cell in a moment and we're going to turn CCTV cameras on and he will be monitored at all times for his own health and safety.
Yeah, until I pass them.
Yeah. Okay, does he want anything to eat or drink at the moment?
No. Yes.
Officers must closely monitor the men and observe when they go to the toilet in case they attempt to swallow the packages again after they've passed through their systems.
Is the other guy in the cell?
Yeah.
Because this guy says he needs the loan.
Right.
So I'm wondering, is there any... Do you have any problem with me taking it?
Not at the moment, the temperature's down a cup of tea. So
okay, so we just take it to the special.
Yeah. Okay. There's a special toilet, basically, where it collects any packages when people go to the toilet, basically. So it's a way of collecting the evidence to ensure it doesn't go down, it doesn't flush down the loo. Not our favourite job, actually. Yeah. Fortunately, Mark's got the job, not me.
The guy asked to go to the loo. He's been to the loo. We've got a special one that we use for people who swallow drugs. And obviously, if they pass any, we need to collect them up. And yes, he did. So I need to go and sort that out now.
For Officer Mark, this is the first time he's dealt with drug swallowers. Collecting the evidence is not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, yes, so you may... Yeah, good. Yeah, okay.
As the toilet is flushed, the Lithuanian swallower's cocaine is washed into a special basin. If just one of these packages had burst inside him, the man would have been killed within seconds.
Yeah, thank you.
An unlucky Mark's job is to rinse and clean the packages so they can be sent off for testing and used as evidence. In all, the men had swallowed 50 packages each with more than 1 kilo of cocaine. They've since pleaded guilty and will now have to swallow a long prison sentence. The busy shift continues at Gatwick's North Terminal. Border Force agents have been alerted to a suspicious stash of candles which one passenger has brought back from Jamaica.
We're going to make a little hole in them.
An X-ray has revealed a suspicious line in the candles, so Officer Jez suspects there may be something hidden inside.
Look, Stuart.
And straight away, the smell confirms his suspicion. It's the third drug haul of the day at Gatwick, this time herbal cannabis.
Well, you get it in all sorts of places. Do the rest later.
The passenger proclaims her innocence, but is arrested for importing a controlled substance.
We've got a total of 7 candles. The first one has shown that we've got a small amount of cannabis in it. And we're just going to make sure that the others have also got cannabis in it. And the second one would indicate also that it has got cannabis in it as well. So the top part, it's slightly darker than it is on the lower part, which obviously now we know it's got obviously about 200 grams of cannabis inside. The lady actually, when she was stopped, did mention that she'd bought some candles while she was away. And which is fair comment because people do actually buy different presents to bring back for people when they go abroad on holiday. And she actually did say she'd got some candles. I think the officer became suspicious when she realised that she'd got 7, which is, you know, it's quite a large amount of candles to have. So that now leaves us with 4 candles to examine. And I suspect the other 4 candles will probably contain herbal cannabis as well.
With 2 Class A seizures already this morning at Gatwick, Jazz was hoping to find something more incriminating than cannabis.
A little bit disappointing in reality for us professionally, but nevertheless, a good concealment.
With over 1.5 kilos of cannabis found inside the candles, the passenger is now awaiting sentencing.
Where are they coming from?
Coming up, one man forgets his manners in front of officers.
Okay, had a good meal on the plane. Sounded like you just had a 3-course roast dinner.
Coming up,
It stinks. Ugh.
officers get their hands dirty at Gatwick. At Manchester Airport, an international flight has just arrived with over 200 passengers on board. UK border officers are scanning and X-raying bags for any unusual signs.
This one's coming in from Montego Bay in Jamaica, so it's of interest to us from a drugs angle. You get cocaine and cannabis both produced and imported from the Caribbean, so basically any flights from the Caribbean are of interest for drugs.
As passengers disembark, Officer Liz is on the lookout for any suspected smugglers.
Hello, sir. You travelling on your own today?
Yes.
Can you just bring your bag this way for me, please? Where have you come in from?
Jamaica.
Yeah, can you just bring your bag this way, please? Do you have a passport and ticket? Are you aware it's illegal to import certain things into the UK, such as controlled drugs, indecent material, offensive weapons?
Yes.
Do you have anything like that with you?
No.
Do you have anything to smoke or drink?
No.
Right, OK, what's in your duty-free boxes there? OK, so that's to drink. So how much rum have you got?
It is 6 bottles.
6 bottles of rum. OK. Do you have a key for this, please?
He's way over his allowance for spirits, and Liz is suspicious about the man's denial. She decides to X-ray some of the goods in his baggage for any hidden drugs.
The gentleman's just got some fruit and some bottles. What I'm doing, I'm just X-raying it just to make sure that there's nothing concealed within the fruit or the bottles. Sometimes I've had little packages that are stuck behind the labels in the bottles. So I'm just checking there's nothing concealed there. They all look fine, so. He's got quite a lot of bottles of rum cream. I'm actually going to test one of the bottles just to make sure there's no cocaine in solution. What's just happened here is I've just been swabbing various things as I've been going through the baggage. I've just tested the swab and it's actually come up with a small trace of heroin. Okay, now that's quite unexpected really, because the sort of drugs you'd be expecting to find from Jamaica would be cocaine and cannabis. So it's only a small trace and I'm just going to see if I can replicate the hit to see where it's come from, and then I might ask him about it.
Having found the trace, Liz is now on the lookout for any behavioural indicators the man may be smuggling.
Okay, had a good meal on the plane?
Yeah, the meal was terrible.
The meal was terrible? What was it?
What did I have? Some powdered eggs.
Some powdered eggs? Is that it? All right.
But it's not just the man's manners causing Liz concern.
Sounded like you just had a 3-course roast dinner. Yeah. One of the indications that someone might have an internal concealment of drugs is actually burping. And I don't know whether you caught that, but he just gave a very loud burp and he's not eating very much, so, you know, my suspicions are raised a little bit. He's also not got a lot of money. He's got £5 to get a taxi to somewhere, which he might get there for £5, but I'll just carry on, see what we get.
At Gatwick Airport, UK border officers are targeting a flight from the Canary Islands. They're on the lookout for passengers bringing in more than their allowance of cigarettes and alcohol. The officers shuffle their ID cards and pick at random to see who gets which job.
1. Yes!
Hazel wins, but her husband Paul draws the short straw.
I can't believe I'm last again!
Having successfully chosen her ID card first, Officer Hazel will have the first choice of any jobs.
This one stinks. The slightly less glamorous part of our job. I think it's his shoes.
The bags have arrived from outside the EU, and passengers are strictly limited to 200 cigarettes. Hazel must find the cigarettes, even if this means confronting her pet hate of touching other people's pants.
There's 800 in here as well. Ooh.
She might not like it, but the owner of this bag has 800 cigarettes.
Hazel, just put some gloves on and look professional.
Oh.
That's someone's bag.
Oh, what's wrong with them? Oh, it was just people's knickers. Just the most revolting part of our job.
When passengers exceed their allowances, the goods need to be seized.
Which one are you going to do, Hazel?
I don't mind.
You choose, you're number 1.
I'll do the suitcase.
Right, okay, let's go.
With their jobs allocated, the officers head upstairs and wait for the passengers to claim their bags from the luggage carousel.
Is it the two of you travelling together?
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Just bring your bags over to one of the benches for me, please.
Hello. Are the two of you travelling together?
Yes.
Where have you just arrived from?
Lanzarote.
OK, if I can just have a moment of your time. Right, so what have you got in here, then?
That's what I got off the plane.
OK, so you've got 400 there, yeah?
Yeah.
And you've got 400 other cigarettes?
Yeah.
OK. So that's basically twice your allowance.
Right,
OK, so if you've got 800 cigarettes, you're allowed 400, so you've got twice the
I said to the rep, when we was there, I could take 400 out, and I said, what about on the plane? He went, yeah, if there's something on the plane, you can buy them on the plane.
Yeah,
so he's directed me wrong.
OK, so you've got 800 in total then. Is there any other things you want to tell me about before we carry on?
You want to tell the man? You got any cigarettes or booze anywhere?
I can't remember what I've got in this one.
You got to tell the man.
Whilst Paul's passengers appear to understand they've exceeded their allowances, Hazel's passengers are slightly less happy.
OK, because you're over your allowance for both alcohol and cigarettes, and because you knew your allowance, OK, I have to seize everything from you, OK? That's everything that you've got here. So that's 1,600 cigarettes and 5.5 litres of spirits, OK? I'll just get you some documentation. Just hold on for a second.
You're well in excess of your allowances on both alcohol and cigarettes. So these items are going to be seized from you today. OK, I'll issue you with some paperwork, but these are going to be taken and destroyed. OK?
They admitted to knowing that they were over their duty-free allowance for alcohol and for cigarettes. They looked a little bit peeved, but they knew they'd done wrong.
He didn't say anything as such, but I think he was hoping he'd get away with it.
OK, thanks very much for your time.
Fair enough. I mean, admittedly, I went down the wrong channel and he sort of jumped on us, so we paid the price. It's an expensive lesson.
For the officers, it's been a job worth getting their hands dirty for.
It was a little unclean, but we didn't make too much of an issue of it.
I had first pick of the detections because I'd won the draw, so I decided that I'd take the cleaner option and give the bag with the dirty lingerie to Paul. I think he got a slightly bigger seizure out of it, but it was worth it not to have to rummage through that again.
In Manchester, Liz has found nothing in the suspect's bags. The last thing to check is the passenger's rum.
Can you pass me your duty-free boxes up, please? Cheers. OK, this isn't rum, is it? This isn't rum, is it? What is it?
Yeah.
OK, just wait there for 1 second.
Liz's intuition and patience has finally paid off as she finds a large package stuffed inside the duty-free rum cases.
OK. Obviously what I was expecting to find in the duty-free boxes was rum. OK. This clearly isn't rum, so obviously I suspect it to be drugs. What I'm going to do now, cut into there. OK, and what we've got here is herbal cannabis by the look of it. I'm actually going to arrest the gentleman. I'm going to ask my colleague to test it, and I'm going to just take him into a private room and arrest him. Just want to take a seat there, please. OK, I suspect this to be cannabis. OK, so the time is 08:33. I'm arresting you on suspicion of being knowingly concerned in the illegal importation of a controlled drug.
As the man begins to realise the consequences of his actions, Liz gets the results back from the tests on the substance.
All that red colour there, that's confirmation that it's cannabis. Obviously the indicators there that he's nervous and all the rest of it are still there. We now know why he's nervous, because he's got this, but I can't discount the possibility that he may be carrying drugs internally as well.
But the man is less than happy at the suggestion that he may have swallowed drugs.
I need to be sure that you don't have drugs on you, inside you. Are you okay with that?
No, because I have nothing in my stomach.
No, because you've got nothing in your stomach, right? If you refuse to have the compass, you will be monitored, and we'll have to wait for nature to take its course, and you'll have to have 2 clear motions.
With the man's reluctance to have an X-ray, Liz is adamant they'll find out whether he swallowed drugs one way or the other.
OK, we're going to take you upstairs now to our custody suite. OK, so if you'd like to follow us, you can push your trolley. OK, you all right?
Yeah, if you push that one.
The man's frustration is understandable. Liz has intercepted a huge amount of cannabis.
It was actually quite a shock when I saw the tape packages. I wasn't expecting it. I just thought he'd actually got too much rum.
The packages contain more than 8 kilos of cannabis, with a street value of more than £25,000. After an X-ray, it was revealed that the cannabis smuggler had not swallowed any packages. He's currently awaiting trial.